PathMonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add PathMonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Paul from Coriell, Vice President of Marketing there with them. How are you doing today, Paul?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks.
I'm doing great. Good to have you on today's show. Excited to learn a little bit more. We're talking a little bit about the company before, but let's give the listeners what they came for. In your own words, Paul, what is Coriell?
Sure. So I'll start back a little bit. So medications don't work the same for everyone because of our genetics and other factors. So you could have the same pill taken in the same dose by two different people that can have wildly different results. For one person, it could be safe and effective. For another, it could be ineffective or worse, cause a significant amount of harm for them. And that has a lot to do with the variations in our genetics. So our DNA controls the rate at which a lot of medications are metabolized or processed by our bodies. That's something that's not really readily available or apparent to physicians as they're prescribing medications. When the completion of the human genome was mapped in 2003, that gave us the ability to measure those variations in a very quantitative and reliable way. So we, Coriell Life Sciences, we focus on using that genetic research in a meaningful way that can help pretty much everybody with safe and effective medication management, simply by having someone complete a simple enrollment form, submitting a saliva sample that gets sent to a lab, having a really informative consultation with a specially trained pharmacist, and then working with their doctor to put the recommended changes of their medication regimen into action. And we do that at a population scale, primarily with organizations, retirement plans, health plans, with our Coriell medication safety program.
Okay, perfect. So I think you answered a couple of things for me, but just to clarify and our listeners to get a good understanding, then what would you say is the key problem that you suffer for, in this case, patients?
Yeah, sure. So really, healthcare spending can be a significant portion of an organization's budget. And it's often the sickest people or those taking certain medications or that have certain health conditions that are utilizing their healthcare coverage, as they should, right? So on top of that, you have instances where being on the wrong medications, usually unknowingly, causes side effects or may prevent people from getting better or feeling good, which means maybe they're not taking their medication as they should be. That results in missed work days, poor productivity while they are working, and all the other health issues that come about from having that happen to the individual. So the Coriell Life Sciences Coriell Medication Safety Program can change that by ensuring that people are taking the right medications for them. That results in fewer hospitalizations, fewer emergency department visits, sometimes fewer doctor's visits in general. That saves the organization a lot of money because there's less utilization on the healthcare resources, helps improve productivity because now you have people that are feeling better and they're happy to be at work. And it really improves the health and well-being of that person who went through the program and likely had their medications changed, or even in instances where they don't need a change, there's just that peace of mind knowing that the medications they take now or even could take in the future are the right ones for them.
And that's super important, I believe, right? I think peace of mind, knowing that you are getting better and not taking the wrong medicine. And as a general, right? Just focused on you. I think that's super great. And we were talking a little bit about who you guys like to focus on. Is there a segment, vertical type of companies that you like to go for, or insurance companies or clients, patients?
Yeah, so we're sort of lucky, I think, because we're industry agnostic, right? This program is just as effective for a manufacturing company as it could be for a retail company, for really any company that's out there, whether it's even a working population or a retirement population or insured individuals, from the moment you're born, this program is relevant. Our DNA does not change through the course of our lifetime. So really, if you are taking medications or think you could be, then the program's right for you. Our focus area, just to kind of dial it in a little bit, since we are B2B, we have typically worked with larger organizations, mostly that are responsible for more than 5,000 individuals for their healthcare. So that's been our sweet spot, if you will. But more recently, we've launched a self-service option to the program so that we can really work with any population. So that enables us to work more efficiently with smaller groups if they want to test 10 people, 100 people, whatever the case may be. So really that gave us the ability to not only be industry agnostic, but to also work with any size organization. And though we're focusing on B2B, individuals can also go to we do have a Shopify page where they can pay out of pocket or through their FSA or HSA funds, purchase a DNA collection kit, enroll in the program, have the pharmacist consultation, so they can have all of that too, whether or not they're part of a plan if they want to pay out of pocket on their own.
Definitely, that's great to hear. And as far as some marketing strategies, right? So that way people could get to guys know you. What would you say is a top client acquisition channel for you, Paul?
Yeah, so we've been, again, fortunate in the past, I'd say really couple years. We're mostly organic, word of mouth and referrals. We really have great client partners. We also work with a series of companies that are more service distribution channel partners for us, where you take a company that's an insurance broker that has their own list of clients, or a benefits consultant that has their own clients, and they decide to offer our program, kind of tack it on to what they're already offering to make their offering more innovative and more competitive. So they bring this to their clients as well. So we've been able really to function from a sales and marketing perspective over the last couple of years, in particular through word of mouth and through those referrals, because the programs are successful and the people going through them find it extremely valuable. So it becomes easy and pretty advantageous for other people to talk about it. So we've been lucky from that kind of organic word of mouth perspective.
Okay, perfect. And we're talking about your website a little bit, so that way people could go ahead and visit you guys. It's Coriell.com, Life Sciences, really nice website. What role does a website play for you guys then?
Yeah, it's interesting. So we have an interesting challenge because this is a relatively unknown industry. So really what we're in, our general field is called pharmacogenomics, which is largely unknown. And that's basically the study of how our DNA impacts, again, how fast we sort of fast or slow or whatever speed we metabolize medication. Most people don't know the role that DNA has in determining how safe or effective or not medications can be. Plus, it's not even widely discussed in healthcare settings, whether that's in doctors' offices, hospitals, telehealth, or anywhere else at the moment. So the website kind of has to do a lot of that education work. And we do prioritize our audiences, but we also have different levels of understanding and knowledge of our website visitors. So it could be a caretaker, a parent, an adult child, the person themselves wanting to research, an HR or benefits leader wanting to implement something like this for their organization, medical directors, physicians, scientists, researchers. So we have to present information in a way that's sort of compatible with all those different audiences, with those really vast levels of education and knowledge on this subject. We certainly don't want to scare anybody away, but we want to make sure that we can easily explain it to kind of whoever's visiting the site to make sure that they can find value and relevancy in what it is. So it's a lot of that content. We vary the content types from long form sort of blog post style to like what we're doing here, podcast and audio recordings, to videos. We have testimonials. So we vary the types of content. We vary how we present it to the user and kind of vary the depth of detail that we go into on the different subjects.
Awesome. Great to hear that. Now, as far as some marketing efforts for you guys you mentioned you get a lot of organic referrals. Is there any tools or methods that you guys are applying?
Yeah, so we are big on learning and adjusting as we go. So every time we're at a trade show or a conference or a client event or even just conversations with different vendors and partners, we're always learning, right? So we're learning what information would be most helpful for people to know. Even our FAQs, our frequently asked questions, are always evolving and being updated because we're getting new questions as the program gets rolled out to new audiences and as we're presenting to new audiences. So we keep the website updated fairly frequently, as quickly as we can, based on when we're sort of getting that user feedback, especially when we're seeing common themes come across the different conversations. So we try to use it in that way to, again, continue to be relevant, not just a set it and forget it mentality. It's just always wanting to make sure that we have the most recent information there. And if we can present the information even before somebody asks us the question so they can get that information they're looking for, then that's really the ideal scenario there.
Definitely. All right. Awesome. Great to hear, Paul. Now, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about you as a leader, you being the VP of marketing there for Coriell. What are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah, so if you think of marketing and sales efforts, it's all of the above. So everything from our social media channels, we're primarily on LinkedIn and use Twitter or X, if you will, as a support mechanism for that. The website content, user experience, work directly with the sales team, so new business outreach and lead nurturing, looking for the right opportunities in terms of events, conferences, trade shows, even finding different partners to work with us. We're just one small piece of the healthcare puzzle, or one small piece of how we can kind of conduct marketing outreach. And then for our clients, we also develop and manage the majority of, when we're trying to enroll individuals into the program, we're writing most of those emails and a lot of that content, and actually managing the distribution of that through our CRM. And we're doing a lot of that outreach. And then for them, helping to support the program on their end, whether that's with different events, benefits fairs, wellness coordinators, whatever it is. So my role kind of spans through all of that. I joke at times and say that if it has words on it, then I'm probably involved with it one way or another. And it's kind of always been that way. And I like it that way. And then just general branding tasks. When I started about 4 years ago, the first task was to develop a new website and a brand guidelines, and making adjustments and evolving that as we go along. So really any sort of marketing and sales tasks you would think of fall within any given day-to-day of what might need to get done.
Definitely part of marketing, right? So great to hear that. Well, let's move to the section, Paul. It's a rapid fire questions round. So are you ready for them?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First off, Paul, what is the last book that you read?
So I knew I researched this ahead of time, knowing you would ask, because I always forget the last book that I read, no matter how good it is. So it was James Clear's the author, Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. And I'll use the term read loosely, listen to it, as I'm walking the dog and driving and all that. So so Atomic Habits is the last book I read, and highly recommend it to anybody who is looking to be more efficient in their day and who has a mix of significant and kind of minor tasks and needs a better way to prioritize them. The book was extremely helpful with that.
Definitely good read there. Now, Paul, what is one single thing that Coriell is focused on at the moment the most?
So it's really helping people at a population scale. So there's a ton of research out there. We have just a vast array of knowledge and data available to us. And our day-to-day is really focusing on how can we apply that in a business sense, in a technology sense, really in just a human sense, to help people with really what they could potentially struggle with every day, which is the issue of medication safety. There's a lot of ways to go about it. There's a lot of different ways to reach people. There's a lot of ways to inform different people about it, all the stakeholders, kind of within that full journey of healthcare and patient interaction. So we just look to help people live healthier, better lives, which is a really general statement, but that's really at the heart of what we do. So every day, if we're looking back on did the tasks at least help to accomplish that, then, that's what we kind of look to focus on.
Right. You hear that now? If there would be no boundaries in technology, Paul, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Yeah, I think just better and more immediate and meaningful ways to actually connect with the right people, if we're talking about sales. And I don't mean sending LinkedIn and mails and hoping that business leaders who clearly or most likely haven't even been on LinkedIn in 3 years magically sign on that day and see your message, right? That's not the type of connection that I'm talking about. Just ways to actually go about making an actual connection. So I'm not a salesperson by trade. I spent 15 years at ad agencies as an account guy and a business strategist, and have done a lot along the way and have been involved in sales for a good portion of that time, but definitely not by trade or training. So for me, it's not just going from one transaction to the next. It's actually being able to connect with people, not just straight going for the sale, but to find some sort of common ground and figure out how we could potentially help each other. The sales conversation comes out of that, but connecting in a better way than just these kind of transactional iterances throughout the day that we try to, get out there or send, however many tens or dozens of throughout each week. So if we could change that, that'd be great. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe we can try.
I think that's every marketer's sales dreams, right? Getting.
Yep.
And Paul, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
I think website updates. So being able to update the website content and add new content based on how users interact with the site, right? That's fairly time consuming to do that the right way. If there was some sort of way to automate that and just have it be happening in the background, that would be, I think, a huge help for any marketer or retailer or anybody that has a website. If somebody could figure that out, then we'd be in a much better place in our roles here.
Definitely. All right. Now, I love asking this question, especially like someone like you, Paul. You do have a lot of experience already in the marketing, like you mentioned. What is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Yeah, I think considering or even knowing to consider different possibilities. I majored in business management in college and didn't know anything about the advertising or marketing world or what the potential career avenues were. There was no, Mad Men was still years away at that point. So there just wasn't a whole lot of information that seemed to be available in that time for me. I had one marketing class. I've been fortunate in my roles over the years and even in the times that I've consulted on my own to gain a lot of experience in a lot of different areas, from video and photo production, creative development, international business, and just about every industry there is. But that's all been on the job. So if I wanted to kind of make a career direction change, it might have taken a little bit longer or been a little more difficult to do so versus knowing what possibilities were out there kind of before I, got 5-6 years into my career at that point. So from what I hear, that's a little bit different now. There's more focus on the industry and a lot more understanding and awareness of it. But if I could go back, I don't know if I would change much, but just knowing what options were out there probably would have helped.
Great advice there, Paul. Well, Paul, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about Coriell?
We're here to help, whether it's saving money, saving lives, really, because that's what could happen if you're on the wrong medication. So everywhere from individuals to really just anybody, we are here to help. So we are happy to answer questions, talk to people, really just help how we can. What we do is very focused and very specific, but how we can help is pretty vast.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Paul, for that. You can always check them out at Coriell.com. And important, right? Learn about precision medicine. Thank you so much, Paul, for being on. Thank you for our listeners to tuning in, and looking forward to our next episode at Path Monk Presents.
Thanks, Ernesto. I appreciate it. Have a great day.